water with which a beer is brewed lends a lot to the taste of the brew. Had we tried to use Santorini's natural groundwater, we unfortunately would have found it to be salty. So what we tried to do instead was take Santorini basalt, naturally formed from the ancient Minoan eruption, to make a lava rock filter, which all our brew water is put through. We've taken that water and then incorporated it into the brewing process, laying the foundation for a rich, complex beer with historic undertones you can actually taste. Santorini has a very unique agricultural system. Its soils are very thin and there's very little water. So what it produces is very intense in flavor, but very limited in quantity. Developing Volkan, we had to find the best local ingredients for brewing. The first ingredient we chose is Santorini honey. Santorini honey is harvested only once a year, unlike most honeys which are harvested 4 to 5 times a year. This is due to the very intense heat of summer and the short flowering season. There are few families on the island that still keep bees. For Volkan, we've collaborated with the local honey producer Marcos, and we're working to develop new hives on our own Santorini pistachio farms.
Η ανθοφορία που δίνει μέλι Σαντορίνη είναι κυρίως το θυμάρι, αλλά και οι άλλοι ορεινοί θάμνοι όπως είναι το θρούμπι, η μέντα, η ρίγανη, το φασκόμηλο, και εκτός από αυτά έχουμε και ένα μεγάλο αριθμό από ανοιξιάτικα και καλοκαίρινα λουλούδια, όπως είναι το καλοκαίρι η λιγαριά. Είναι ιδιαίτερο χαρακτηριστικό και μοναδικό η περίπτωση που έχουμε τον μήνα Αύγουστο, όταν οι μέλισσες επισκέπτονται τα γιαστά σταφύλια, τα οποία τα χρησιμοποιούν οι αμπελουργοί για την παραγωγή του παραδοσιακού κρασιού του Βυσάντου, και από εκεί απομυζούν και παίρνουν το απαραίτητο νέκταρ για να φτιάξουν μια ιδιαίτερη και μοναδική ποιότητα μελιού.
Using traditional methods of harvesting by hand, Mr. Kafouros produces some of the finest honey on Santorini. The intensity of flavor is essentially a result of this almost waterless agricultural system that we're part of.
Well, I've been here for 11 years now, and the one thing that I've heard so much about is the wonderful ingredients that they have on Santorini. And to actually be able to brew a beer with those kind of ingredients was something, of course, I'm going to jump on. But when you use the best ingredients, of course, you're going to create a wonderful product. And I think that's what we've achieved here. The aromas and everything of the Santorini honey fills up the whole room. That's not something you get very often.
So we've taken this rare, intense honey and carefully introduced it at several stages of the brewing process. The honey gives our beer a very delicate touch of sweetness, infusing it with the rich aromas of Santorini's wild plants and traditional crops. For our next ingredient, we turn to Naxos, another Cycladic island known for its exceptional agriculture. Here we found the citron, or Citrus Medica, a rather unusual ingredient. The Citrus Medica is a large, prehistoric, lemon-like fruit that can grow up to 4 kilos in size. It's the oldest known variety of citrus, cultivated in Mesopotamia roughly 6,000 years ago. It was brought to Greece from Persia by the armies of Alexander the Great. Our supplier for Citrus Medica is Stamatis Probonas, whose family has been cultivating citron since 1913 from the roughly 2,000 remaining trees on Naxos. He distills a rare form of citron essence, blending it into a line of exquisite Greek liqueurs.
Εδώ έχουμε το δέντρο της κιτριάς, το οποίο είναι όμοια με το δέντρο της πορτοκαλιάς και της λεμονιάς, με τη διαφορά ότι το φύλλωμά του είναι πολύ μεγαλύτερο από των άλλων δέντρων και έχουν και περισσότερο άρωμα.
Working with Mr. Probonas, we sought to extract the essence of the Citrus Medica, not from the fruit, because there's very little juice in the fruit, but instead from the leaves of the tree. And we've done that through a technique that's more widely used in the perfume industry. So after extracting that essence, we've used it at several stages of the brewing process to create a fresh and exceptionally tasty beer. Brewing with Citrus Medica is quite a challenge because the essence can very easily overwhelm as well as complement. But we think we've created something that is really unique and well balanced in terms of a beer.
We actually had this one gentleman who does deliveries and stuff for us. As we walked into the brewery, and right away the expression on his face was just, okay, what's going on? The smells coming from here are just amazing, and you're working on something new, I know it. What is it? You could tell something exciting was happening in the brewery. From the way the staff was operating to the customers walking in, everybody just wondering what's going on. Now the product's going to be available and everybody's going to finally get to try it. And I expect to see some very happy people out there.
We've worked hard to make Volkan a fully authentic Greek beer, proudly brewed in Greece with the finest Greek artisanal ingredients, rare Santorinian honey and the ancient Citrus Medica.